I'm Crystal Allen. We have breaking news to pass along to you this Sunday afternoon. 2 Metro police officers were ambushed by 2 people and shot while they were on break at a pizza shop. We have confirmed that they both have died. Our Elizabeth Donatelli is live at the scene near Nellis in Charleston. Elizabeth, bring us up to speed. What's happening with this developing story?
Be ready for the revolution. That's what both witnesses and police say that these 2 men, these suspects, were saying before and during that shooting. Let's take you back to the beginning where this all started. They walked inside of a CC's Pizza not far from where we are and shot 2 officers, taking their weapons and their ammunition. Next, where they went was over here to this Walmart. They walked inside here and, according to police, shot and killed 1 person inside of this Walmart. Now, witnesses do tell us inside they were yelling things about a revolution, saying they wanted a firefight with police, which they did get. We don't know how many shots were fired, but do know that witnesses tell us it was about 20. At least that's what their guess is. Now, bringing it back out live, you can see it's still a very active scene. Police tell us that the suspects had a suicide pact. We do know that both shooters are deceased at this moment. We don't know, however, more than that, just the description of the suicide pact. Now, you're looking here at some police vehicles. They are all over here. This is still a very active scene, as you can tell. Some crime tape. There's also some cop cars out here and witnesses still standing in the shade. And that's because there are so many people who are out here, and there's so many people that they have to talk to about this. Police describing the situation as complex and as dynamic as you can imagine in a busy area, a busy shopping center. And once again, Crystal, as you did say earlier, both of those officers, we've learned through sources, one died on the scene and one died over at the hospital.
In total, 5 people are dead. That includes 2 Metro police officers. This all happened around 11:30. And if you look right now, still the parking lots of both the Walmart, where the scene is still going on, and the restaurant next door, CC's Pizza, where this all started, still on lockdown. When we got here around 11:30, witnesses told us that 2 suspects, a man and a woman, both in their 30s, walked into the restaurant holding guns. They shot the officers at point-blank range. They were apparently just eating lunch. Then the 2 suspects, before they left, said something along the lines of, "This is a revolution." We ran into one witness outside of the CC's parking lot. He said he talked to the suspects before they made their way to the Walmart next door.
They had a backpack, and I saw their gun in their hand, and he just told me to tell the cops that it was a revolution, and he had just killed 2 cops inside CC's.
Right, and I mean, just that area, we've had so many shootings where people are just opening fire, I mean, either at a mall, at a school, so many types of incidents like these, but we're still waiting to find out whether or not the officers were in fact the target in this situation.
Well, and as Scott mentioned there, the 2 assailants uttered something to the effect of, "Tell the police the revolution has begun." What that means, we may never know, but it certainly shows that something was planned, perhaps premeditated here. They walked into the store, CC's Pizza, and shot the 2 officers with no warning. The officers had no time to react. It's rather cold-blooded. So from that and from the shooting of the innocent victim next door at the Walmart, we can see that there's 2 people here who are apparently very ruthless.
They entered and they shot and killed 1 citizen. Responding officers immediately began to engage the suspects, who then went to the back of the store and engaged in some sort of suicide pact. We had a number of officers entered the store engaging the suspects, and the suspects are both now deceased.
Okay, and that's the first time we've seen Assistant Sheriff McCahill with an explanation of what happened there. We also have some sound coming into the studio now that we have not yet seen either, and that is explaining, can my producer again tell me what it is we're seeing? How many witnesses saw what happened? So let's take a look at that right now.
Do additional information later on. I can't give you any updates on the status of the officers. As you can tell, this is a very complex, very dynamic crime scene, and our investigation is continuing. We have literally 1,000 or more witnesses, and it's going to take us a while, but very important to know that this scene is stabilized, the situation is now safe, and there is no further danger to the public.
what a thing for any shopper to see on a quiet Sunday afternoon in June.
All right, and we're waiting. We have another reporter on scene that we will soon check in with to find out more information. But at this point, again, information just so critical for law enforcement officers as they're trying to discover exactly what happened. And we heard that the gunman, as you said, Dave, just seconds before opening fire, just spouted words about what they were planning to do, and we're still trying to, discover exactly what that meant.
The revolution has begun, supposedly, is what they said. Other patrons in the restaurant at the time heard them say something to that effect. Tell the police the revolution has begun. Now, whether this is part of a larger effort to attack police, we of course cannot know that. But we know that days like this are the worst nightmare for the sheriff's department, particularly Sheriff Gillespie. It takes these things very hard. Of course, any of his officers that are shot and killed takes a big hunk out of their ethic and just their general disposure about what it's like to be a police officer.
Absolutely. Just how dangerous this job could be. Two of their own.
But please understand that the scene is still dynamic and such, and from an investigative standpoint, and I'm sure you all have many questions of which I will not have the answers for you today, but we will get to those to you as they become available. In my time as sheriff, I have unfortunately had to stand before you on similar occasions more times than I care to recount. But today is an unprecedented day here at the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, as well as in the Las Vegas community. Today I'm sad to report that two of my officers were killed in the line of duty, and an innocent citizen also lost their life. Two suspects responsible for these deaths are also deceased. I know all of you have many questions, some of which I'll be able to answer here today. However, others I will not be able to speak to you today. In the coming days, we will be holding briefings to bring you updated information as it becomes available. The citizen who was killed by the suspects at the Walmart has not been identified. When the identity is confirmed and the family has been notified, then we will release the information. The two Metro officers who were killed have been identified. You see their pictures as well as their names up here. 42-year-old officer Alan Beck, 32-year-old officer Igor Saldo. What precipitated this event, we do not know. My officers were simply having lunch when the shooting started. As I said before, ongoing investigation, many unanswered questions, some of which I'll be able to answer for you today, but I'm sure many of them I will not. I say to the community, and I say to my officers, it's a tragic day. It's a very, very difficult day. But we still have a community to police, and we still have a community to protect. We will be out there doing it with our heads held high, but an emptiness in our hearts. It is truly a tragic day here in the Las Vegas Valley. With that, I'll take any questions that you may have. Yes, ma'am.
Sheriff, we're hearing that one of the suspects says this is a revolution. Have you heard that? Do you know?
That is unconfirmed.
Is there any indication this is from a sovereign citizens or anarchist group?
As I said, that's one of those questions will have to be answered later.
Do you have any motive at all, Sheriff?
No, sir.